It's just past 2:15 AM on Sunday the 20th of August 2023, and this is a more quieter and reflective Blackford's Book Club, episode 10, but also episode 1 of 5 from my third self-published book, Chasing the Impossible and the Sword of Damocles, 2 seasons with Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. Now, I'm a little quieter in this edition because it's 2:15 AM in the morning and sleep is a desperate mistress, and one I just simply can't conquer sometimes. So, in my infinite wisdom, I thought, hey, why not get up, put on the replica shirt that I used for the cover of the book on a Sunday morning, just turned Saturday evening, and talk to myself into a camera, but not just to a camera, but to you. So I thank you for joining me, and I hope the lighting's good. I'm not going to do this again. There are no edits here. This is just as it happens, and this is just me talking to you, and I really do thank you and appreciate you for being there. And what I thought I would do with this first episode of 5 on this book alone is read the back, as well as the prologue, the introduction and the dedication. And I'm going to do it slightly more measured than in my other videos, because I don't want to wake my neighbour, obviously, but equally, and to stop rambling, I can't sleep. So here we go. Forever a 14-year-old kicking around a tennis ball or playing for the school team, I am now a 50-something football fan who rails against the unwanted intrusion of VAR into our beautiful game. This is my second book on football and the first on Liverpool Football Club. Quote, "This season isn't going to be a messy one for Liverpool, as I've previously suggested. It's going to be a Sword of Damocles season, where there's a poor performance or impending draw or a scrappy route through the initial stages of the Champions League, and where once there was the inevitability of a brilliant win, there's always going to be an air of impending doom. After the last season's heroics, could there be anything else? From the chasing of the impossible to a mid-season rebuild amid reinventions and the evolution of his team going forward, this is 2 seasons with Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, as well as a personal story watching the football team of my red heart." Dedication. For Reds all around the world, and for my constant inspirations near and far of this earth or exploring the universe. For Maureen, Patrick and Joshua, over to you, kid. It's your turn now. Heartfelt thanks and gratitude. This book would not have been possible without the cast of characters that follow, many, if not all of whom will be blissfully unaware of their inspiration, companionship, friendship, love, or for simply being a part of my life and how much I soulfully treasure them. Thank you to my oldest of all friends, Mark, and my first football travelling companion when we were far too young, innocent and beautifully naive to care about a midweek trip in the dead of winter to Upton Park, Loftus Road, or the memory of our trip to Highbury, which I hold close to my heart. Let's keep the story of that gloriously sunny day at Highbury in 1987 to ourselves, shall we? I believe I was supposed to be the responsible one. I was 15 years old. Your friendship all these decades later means the world to me. When talking travelling companions, many of the following will receive a hearty mention throughout the book, including Steve the taxi driver, whom I last saw at the 2001 UEFA Cup final in Germany, and then, all very aptly as will become readily apparent, at Southampton away the following season. Honourable mentions are due to Chris and Adam, the latter another lifelong fan whose bubbly friendship, jovial manner and willingness to listen to me moan on and on about the publishing of this book will not be forgotten. After moving to the heart of England from the south coast of Portsmouth over 2 decades ago, I've had the real pleasure of creating friendships with many match-going Reds, and so special thanks are heartily reserved for Stuart, Dave, Charlie, Pete, Pat, and please rest in peace, Pat. And especially so brother Andy, who isn't my brother, but you'll never find a finer brother in arms. Thank you, Joshua, for putting up with me as a father and watching on as first I find my purpose, my calling and my raison d'etre, only to promptly and regularly lose them. And special thanks to Chelsea for simply putting up with me. Special thanks are also reserved for two ladies whom I called the angels on my shoulders. And without the insistence of a lady called Julie from the UK charity Mind, I wouldn't have resumed my writing after my hiatus, and a hiatus not just from writing. And for a lady called Anne Louise from another UK charity cruise, for being there and for listening when it seemed no one else was. I can never thank you both enough, and thank you everyone for being a part of my life along the way. You'll never walk alone. Introduction. Now, before we get off on the wrong foot here, please do not read the subtitle or rise and fall subchapters of this book as a criticism in any way of the beautiful German with the equally beautiful beard, Jurgen Klopp. If it were up to me, and it clearly isn't, I'd lock our Stuttgart-born boss into a 10-year contract that would arguably see him into the twilight of his managerial career and selfishly ensure his genius and bloody-minded determination to win stays at Liverpool Football Club for another decade at the very least. So please don't read Dramatic Fall as anything but a huge dollop of literary licence. Moreover, and as I've discussed repeatedly and at length in the body of the book you're about to read, it's more a reflection of that damned Sword of Damocles that simply had to fall on a team, a squad of players, and on a sporting period that followed a season whereby his charges, those Mighty Reds of Liverpool, played every single second of every single fixture in every single game open to them at the start of a campaign, whereby they came within one solitary Premier League point and the width of a Parisian goalpost in the Stade De France from winning everything in sight. Everything. 2 nerve-shredding penalty shootouts accounted for Chelsea and both the Carabao League Cup and FA Cup, but to lose the Premier League by just 1 point again and to play Real Madrid off the park in Paris was an incredible achievement, a remarkable one. And I could only see the following season and the one which closed just yesterday as being a Sword of Damocles affair, forever 1 minute or one game away from being so much worse than an almost all-conquering team who played PlayStation football, that's my trademark, and not just during last season's spectacular ride. My writing has a pleasing life force all of its own, and whilst this is a match-by-match guided narration throughout the past 2 seasons, we must also go back to the future and start at the beginning, or at least the recorded beginning, and my first journey into Europe following the Mighty Reds of Liverpool, and the introduction to the first of a cast of colourful characters with whom I've had the very real pleasure of watching Liverpool with over the years. I hope you enjoy the ride. Stephen Blackford, all present and correct. 29th of May 2023. So there we go. That's episode 10 of the Blackford Book Club, hooray! But it's also episode 1 from this book, my 3rd book, self-published book, available on Amazon. And I'm very, 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 very proud of it. It's thick, 500 odd pages, and I'm going to stop rambling. Right, thanks for watching, I do appreciate it. Links below, all of that mumbo blooming jumbo. If you can support me in any way, I very much appreciate it. Until then, and until episode 11, peace. Thanks for watching.